Well, we're watching this segment about supplements, and that woman said, "See, the movie Food Matters," and they're talking about this. Actually, is I think that they're just in the raw food thing. I think it's really hard to reach. I mean, it's really it's. I mean, man, I'll tell you something. Let me tell you something about about food. Okay, part of the reason, like to be like part of the reason. I mean, I certainly don't always achieve the ideal, but like but part of the reason like that I became interested in like raw foodism, it's not so much about. I mean, it's that I'd always been into like the whole point is like trying. I mean, it should be good. To try to make it as simple as possible. It was the problem like persons like me I could never solve is like the amount of stress of like trying to worry about like what to eat and like what's like the right thing to do and what's the and then I mean just try I mean it's you try to it's a stressful thing for a lot of people to be healthy. Okay, like just because there's so much like different opinions, different kinds of doctors, different things. Okay, but the problem is they all like had one thing in common as far as I can tell is it's too complicated. I mean, it's too complicated for someone who's like actually trying to like reduce the level of stress in their life. And like when I met people that were like into like raw foodism, it's not just about eating. It's not just the eating just raw food or anything like that. There's no point in experimenting with ways to like simplify the problem, like make it so it's not a problem. So like and also just experiment with different ways of eating. Like this thing with experts and like doctors and like people with like degrees and like how to and prescriptions and everything. Like it's too much. It gives me a headache. Like I just like once I got introduced to the idea of like right, like why don't you try just eating try one day where all you eat is fruit. Just try that. I mean, it was like it's so complicated. I mean, the people that should be listened to, of course, are anyone preaching like the raw food lifestyle. I mean, they know what they're talking about. David Wolf, or I think that they're showing right now. Like, I mean, that would be the thing for people who really know about like those things. Like, have more like knowledge. Like, right to just be preaching the raw food lifestyle, and to the degree that they, I've met people who know a lot about like supplements and stuff. Like that's the one thing where expertise, like a David Wolf with a PhD in nutrition, who's like, okay, that's the thing. Like, so anyone preaching the raw food lifestyle and like the correct supplements and things, like they know what they're talking about, though, But I mean, I'm saying as for someone like myself who's not an expert, the main thing was to keep it to just like simplify and just try different things out and know that like let me tell you something. We believe over here in our like what we believe is that things that get more complicated as you try to understand them are things that are poorly understood. Like things should just get simpler. Like when you've got like different, like too many different like recommends and like it seems too complicated, like that's a sign something's wrong. I'm saying like the way I got my health, even I was really had a bad problem. Right, just try like someone emailed me and told me like she was trying and she's just like, yeah, I'm just trying to right now I'm like really into eating like just a lot of like nuts and berries. I'm trying that out and like now I did 10 days of just like all like this or like I know or and like experimenting with things like what is not how do I just drink water all day and then have a regular dinner. Like I don't know, you mean just trying out different things but also trying to make it as simple as possible. So like when you wake up in the morning, it's not like, my God, like how am I gonna get my health together? Like I how and anyone who's like a doctor, like it just makes it more complicated. You gotta listen to a lecture on like how many this is how many pieces of cheese you should eat, and then I mean that's all just insanity. Half the point of like getting into the raw food lifestyle is it's so simple. You don't even need utensils. You don't. I mean, it's so simple. Like what did we do today, for example? We tried this. You do what you like. That's the thing. It's a kind of like nutrition anarchism. You just try like what you like. So today, what we do today? I didn't. We just. It's. It's mostly spinach, raw spinach, and garbanzo beans and an avocado. That's what we had today so far. I mean, it's just really simple. They're whole things. Anything that has to be prepared or put together, like that's too complicated. I'll have a nervous breakdown. I bought a bunch of cans of beans and a bunch of raw spinach and a bunch of avocados, and you know what? Like I haven't thought much about what else to do. But I mean, when you just to simplify it. But I'm saying there are people who are experts on like raw. See, if someone's an expert on raw foodism and like the raw food way and on like supplements, like they know what they're talking about. That, but people, it's hard. People, it's really hard to bring people over to that. You know. Well, I love talking to such people because, like, I don't know any. I'm like an amateur, like at those kind of things. They tell me all kinds of things. That's how I found out about superfoods. There's all these like goji berries and whatnot, but like I'm not the expert. I love talking to them though. I mean, I love what they always have good something to tell me. I just learned about the apple cider vinegar and water thing 3 times a day from someone who knows about that stuff. But I'm saying no, from the amateur like situation, yeah, I just try to keep it as simple as possible. And if anything is coming out of some doctor's mouth, if it's complicated, like I must be that they either don't know what they're talking about or like I don't want to. It's not. Your food should be your medicine. It shouldn't be like a stressful thing to worry about.